I'm Cheryl C., and I wanted to share with you one of my favorite quilts, Train to Nowhere with you. So I had just finished a larger quilt called Hawaiian Improv, which was mainly beige and black, and I wanted to make a more colorful version with a pieced background that you don't normally see in Hawaiian quilts. So it has the same basic principle of design where it is a town surrounded by an English garden, and there's park benches and trees and flowers around it, and then a town around that. But in Train to Nowhere, I added some train tracks and some train stations, in addition to a lot more colorful embroidery. And as the quilt evolved, it became my personal north, west, east, and south as far as places that I've lived, and parts of my life that are significant to me. So in this quilt, I have every single house number of every place I've ever lived. And I also included a tooth over top of the dental office that I work on, the doctors that I work for, and even a doctor that later joined the practice. I have 4 key houses that were symbolic in my life. This one represents my childhood home in Canada. Not that the house itself looked anything like that, but I have a tricycle and some rhubarb and a little red wagon. And that was the color of shutters that I had for that house. So if there were houses that were more my north, those houses are represented up here. You can see some wisteria on the fence here, a little birdhouse, and lots of birds like over this fountain, this gate, little bunny hiding behind this topiary. Another key house here was one of my first houses as an adult, where I have a chain link fence and some red tipped bushes, just like I would have had at that house, and I had burgundy shutters on that one. Down south more, which is going to be upside down, is when I lived in South Carolina. I have a palmetto bush on that one there. And as we go around over this way, this was a house I lived in West Virginia. And you can see one of my dogs going around the outside towards where there was a chicken coop at one time. And there's a bunch of logs and a basketball hoop there. This, like a few of my last quilts, incorporated some of my great-grandmother's hand-tatted lace in the English country garden in the center, as well as the corners. All of the royal blue is one piece of fabric, and all of that has been trapuntoed in areas like the trees and the bushes to make them stand out. And I have a really interesting edge technique where I've used the beaded corded piped edge, as well as some scalloping on there. In the outside edges of the embroidery includes a double high billboard where the National Quilt Museum had advertised my quilt Starstruck to advertise their museum. And you'll see street signs of every single city that I've ever lived in, except for the one I currently live in now, which is Dayton, Maryland. And as soon as this does its last show, I will be adding that one to the quilt. As we go around here, I have Canada at this particular train station. The train stations are all labeled. This one is CN for the Canadian Railway. And on this train, I had done a train trip across Canada with my brothers and sisters, and we're little stick figures in the background. You won't be able to see some of these details. You'll just have to come see it in person. But I have a snowman and an outhouse and some cars that I have had, and also even the wall that represents Old Dominion, the university that I studied dental hygiene. So thank you for taking some time and letting me share one of my favorite quilts with you. Hope to see you at a show.